From WBBZ-TV Sports, it's time to beat the champ. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Peck and Sue Novoitsky.
Welcome to Buffalo's classic TV bowling show, here appropriately at Classic Lanes. My name is Paul Peck, along with Hall of Fame bowler Sue Novoitsky, as we end our month-long stay here in Kenmore at Classic Lanes. And we're going to have a little fun today, Sue. We are essentially going to crown a champion of the Classic Lanes League bowlers. Of all of them, they all had a chance to get in on this. We're going to crown a champion today.
Well, one of the twists of the new Beat the Champ was that the host houses could feature their bowling center and their bowlers any way they'd like. So we're going to use our league bowlers this month and reward them for being part of the team here at Classic Lanes, and they're going to get to bowl for the trophy and the title.
Yeah, 4 guys are going to battle their way through it. James Tomsick, Mike Manzella, Pat Madigan, and a rather familiar name to Beat the Champ viewers. Matter of fact, he is the winningest of all Beat the Champ bowlers. And Chuck, we get Chuck Jagodzinski every week, don't we? We love it.
Yep, and I guess he's proven that this is his house.
It sure is.
And we'll see him one more time.
Yeah, so we'll get to see Chuck as well, too. But we're going to, again, crown a Classic Lanes League bowling champion before we're done today. So let's get rolling. First match of the day in our Classic Lanes League Championships features that guy, James Tomsick, taking on Mike Manzella. The winner of this match will advance on to our finals against our other 2 competitors, Pat Madigan and Chuck Jagodzinski. So here we go to start things off with James Tomsick, 27 years old from North Tonawanda, and a good start for him.
Look at that. Made him look easy.
And next up is Mike Manzella. He is 37 years old from Niagara Falls. And again, both of these guys are regular bowlers here in the leagues at Classic Lanes, had a chance to qualify for this event and did so with outstanding performances. And we're getting outstanding performances right off the bat. Well, to tell us a little more about how they came up with the idea for this and how they determined the qualifying for this, we welcome in our friend Brian Borowski, the owner here of Classic Lanes in Kenmore. Brian, always good to have you on here. Tell us a little bit about the idea behind having a league championship.
Well, what we did is we took a little bit off of what Transit did. What we did was a handicap format. So we wanted all our league bowlers to have an opportunity to participate on the Beat the Champ show, not just the top bowlers in our center. So it's a 100% handicap. So what we did is we took 210, subtracted their average, and that's what their handicap was. And fortunately or unfortunately for Chuck, he had a negative 17. So he wasn't too happy about that.
He's pretty good, so you had to account for that, didn't you?
Exactly.
So his highest score he could get would be 283?
Yes, that's correct. So,
you mean that there's a chance we could have our first ever 300 game here on Beat the Champ and it'll only count for 283? Is that what you're telling me?
no, that's not how we're going to do it.
Oh, okay.
We'd get everyone confused, so we just gave the person with the bigger advantage the bonus pins in the match. So in this one, James gets a +6.
So a good spare there in the second frame for Mike Manzella, and here comes James with those extra 6 pins coming into things for his second frame.
Yeah, so those 6 pins will go into the first frame when he establishes a score.
That's correct.
It'll be 6 pins higher.
As I mentioned, James is 27 years old from North Tonawanda, full-time occupation as a landscaper. He's been bowling for the last 8 years, got a little bit of a late start in the sport, but certainly hasn't slowed down his success. He's got his parents and his wife and his kids here watching and cheering him on here at Classic Lanes. He bowls obviously in the regular league here at Classic Lanes and has put up a very nice average of 199 here as well, too.
Yeah, James did get a late start in here, and he's really improved his game immensely from when he first started. So it's good to see him dramatically improve from where he was to where he is today.
Good strike right there.
They got to get used to the fact that the right lane is 7 boards tighter, so we'll see them transitioning as they go. What league does James bowl in?
They both actually bowl on the same team, the Smith Jarris Memorial League. That's on Monday nights at 7 o'clock. So they basically follow our classic doubles league. that started at 5:30.
Teammates made the show together.
They did.
Well, not together, individually actually, but they both made it.
Yes.
So a lot of these scores that were posted to determine who bowled in this actually was a couple months ago, right, Brian?
Yes, we did it near the end of our league season, at the end of April, beginning of May. So it's been quite a few months for them to get excited and nervous at the same time.
Right. There's our Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard, manned as always by Janelle Sabin, keeping you up to date on the scores of our match here between James Tomsick and this gentleman, Mike Manzella, looking for the spare, and he gets it. Nice job by Mike in the third frame to come up with the spare. Mike is 37 years old from Niagara Falls, a production coordinator and efficiency specialist at Apple Rubber Products. Overall average of 207. He has been bowling since he was just a youngster at about 10 years old. As Brian mentioned, bowls here in a regular league early in the week, and then also bowls at the Tonawanda Bowling Center as well there too. So a good start for both of these guys, Sue. We're seeing some pretty good bowling from these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. They know what they're doing out there.
Well, Brian, as we hit early October here, you're deep into the league schedules. Most of everything is up and running. Give us an idea of what some of the leagues that you have going on here at Classic Lanes.
We have, totally different amount of leagues between junior leagues or adult leagues. We're starting up a new Walking Dead league. So at the
feel free to explain.
At the end of the 15 weeks, you get a Walking Dead bowling ball. There's 4 different choices to choose from, and so there's a lot of Walking Dead fans out there. So it's a great opportunity to pick up a one-of-a-kind bowling ball.
I was hoping you were going to say there would be random zombies roaming around the bowling alley, and maybe you have to avoid them in the middle of the lanes or something.
Well, you never know, because one of the leagues that we have is on a Sunday night right before the show, so some people may be getting dressed up in costume.
I was saying you have to dress up, you have to be in costume for the league. That's a great idea, though. That's a terrific idea.
It'll be the Rocky Horror of 2016.
Yes, I've seen.
Oh, you're dating yourself now, Sue.
I know we were talking about earlier, and it's only October, but I think it's being in the bowling business myself that I have to mention that you do the Great Lebowski event, and it's January, but
The Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski.
Everybody knows I didn't
Oh, it's
see
great.
it.
It's great. He's great, but it's the Big Lebowski.
He talks about it every week, how I didn't watch the shows, because I say it's derogatory to bowling.
Yeah.
But I really don't know that.
She said she claims she's never seen Kingpin. What kind of bowler does she call herself? This feels like a good time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more action on Beat the Champ. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV. Well, these guys, they got to bowl with each other. They got to stay friends. Don't keep it nice and easy. Don't get everybody too worked up. Here's a check of the scoreboard. You can see where we are right now with a good-sized lead for James. Again, the winner of this match advances on to our championship match. Take on the winner of Chuck Jagosinski and Pat Madigan. Oh. And don't forget, Beat the Champ continues on the road next week as we pack up and move our way to Grand Island, to Malwitz's Island Lanes for the next month. We'll have 3 weeks of competition up there, and then we'll have a special edition in our final week up there. Can't imagine what Mike Malwitz and the gang will come up with for their special edition event.
Whoever can scream the loudest.
Like I said, I can't imagine what they'll come up with.
I hope they leave us out of it, Paul.
I hope they do too.
We can't be sure.
No, not with Mike around. You can never be sure, but you'll just have to tune in a month from today to find out, and frankly, we're a little bit wondering what we might be getting ourselves into as well, too. Good spare pickup by James. Nicely done here.
Might be our turn to bowl.
At some point, as long as I can be on your team, because I'm not in any Hall of Fames like you, and certainly not for bowling, so if I can be on your team, I'm all for it. You know, unless they make you bowl like left-handed or something like that.
Oh no, that won't happen. I don't want to hurt myself.
No, you'll have to do it two-handed.
Well,
Again, I don't want to hurt myself.
We've already had some fun, and Brian, you've been involved in some of these discussions, and Jim Russo and the rest of the game coming up with some really fun ideas, maybe moving into 2017 for sort of our special edition of the show. You know, maybe we've kicked around some pretty cool ideas, and we'll keep them wrapped up until we're ready to announce them. But I think we're going to really have some fun with these moving forward. And we've had fun with them all year long. We've seen kids, we've seen moms and sons and daughters, and dads and sons and daughters, and we've seen the handicap league that we had last month over at Manor Lanes was fantastic. So the proprietors have come up with some great ideas, and I give you guys a lot of credit for that.
Well, thanks. It's very important that we include everybody. I mean, because bowling is not just for good people, good bowlers. It's for families. It's for kids. It's for seniors. You know, because anyone and everyone can bowl. Like, for instance, when you had at Manor, that was a great thing.
It really was.
You know, then you have the kids and the seniors. You know, anyone can bowl, and that's a great thing about this sport.
What people fail to realize is that when the Classic League bowler, the ones that are making the regular Beat the Champ show, sometimes they look like they're having fun, and sometimes they don't. When we feature the fourth show, the special show, you do realize that this is a place where you go to have fun. Bowling is fun, and those people are enjoying it the most. And the Classic League bowlers are enjoying it. They just show it a little bit differently, because if we didn't enjoy it, we wouldn't be doing it.
Exactly.
But it's just nice to see everybody having fun.
My kids at Alley Brand are still talking about, you know, the experience that they had bowling on Beat the Champ.
Yeah, and hey, it's cool for the kids, especially, to have a chance to be on TV and show off to their friends and be able to go back and watch it. That's a pretty good thrill for any kid. So
Yeah, I never had a chance to be on TV that young.
I thought you were talking about Tony Dolan when you said showing emotion or not showing any emotion when they're bowling.
We saw him smiling, laughing.
Yes, we did. We got a few smiles a couple weeks ago out of Tony. Good spare pickup there.
But it's just two sides of the coin. I mean, there's bowling as the sport and then bowling as the recreation. And obviously we all do it because we love it. But it's nice to see people having a good time.
I'm surprised when we were up at Alley Brandt that you didn't figure out a way to combine the miniature golf and the bowling into some kind of a speed event or something like that.
Well, we're hoping for a tie. So, again, the tie would have been on the golf course. So that's what we're banking on. But
a 145 score posted on the board for Mike Manzella. And it's going to be a victory for James Tomsick. He will roll things out here in the 10th frame, and he will advance on. Yeah, I liked your idea, though. Break the ties with a little putt-putt contest. That's pretty good.
Or we could have a triathlon and do bowling, mini golf, and laser maze.
Oh, I like that even better. There you go. So I hope somebody's writing these ideas down for next year.
I enjoyed the laser maze.
That's
that was
right.
a lot of fun.
Do the laser maze.
Thank you for not videotaping that and showing that on the next episode.
It's actually on YouTube.
We're waiting for the appropriate moment. One more throw here for James Tomsick to clinch his victory and advance on as you get a look at the scoreboard there. Good performance by James. Really bowled very well here today, even getting those 6 pins. And we'll get you set for our next match.
Great job.
Nice strike.
214 scratch, 220 with his handicap.
So it's a 220 to 145 victory for James Tomsick. Shake of the hands for Mike Manzella. The man on the left there, James, comes up with a winner. We got one more match to go, and then we're going to get James back to crown a Classic Lanes champion. Brian's going to stick around with us for the next match. We're going to talk to James and to Mike when we come back to Classic Lanes here in Kenmore. You're watching Beat the Champ.
So I got to tell you.
James Tomsick with the win over his friend Mike Manzella here in the first match of our Classic Lanes Championship. So your TV bowling debut, I guess you didn't have any side bets going on this, so you'll be able to survive this one okay, Mike?
Wish the score was a little bit better, but yeah, he's my teammate. 2 on Monday nights. So that just means next time I have to take them down.
All right, there you go, Sue. That's a pretty good challenge, huh?
Actually, I can't believe you guys didn't have anything on this match. It was so much fun to watch, and you guys did a really good job. What did you think of being on TV?
It's different. It really is from Monday Night Bowling. Nobody's watching.
Did you feel the lights and all of that?
For the first couple frames.
Yeah.
And then you settled in pretty well. You settled in pretty nicely.
You get to do
put
it
up a
again.
nice score. So you'll get to hang out and you'll get to do it again because James is going to be part of our championship. We've got our second match coming up between Pat Madigan and Chuck Jagosinski. We'll have that for you when we return to Classic Lanes here on Beat the Champ. Second matchup of the day here in our Classic Lanes Championship, a very familiar face in Chuck Jagosinski. He'll be challenged by Pat Madigan. And we should have another good match here as well, too. We've seen so much of Chuck here over the course of Beat the Champ. We're going to see him again next week at Island Lanes. We saw him last week here. And he gets off to a pretty good start there, leaves the one pin, does Chuck Jagosinski. He is a regular here at Classic Lanes, so he was eligible for this. And of course, if you're keeping score and Chuck Jagosinski's bowling, he's going to be near the top of the list, isn't he?
I'll say that's right. Don't think that you missed a week of Beat the Champ or
That's right.
that this is a repeat. It's
Nope.
not.
Nope.
This is Chuck again.
I told you, it is now Beat the Champ featuring Chuck Jagosinski. You know, he's the feature performer on this show. We welcome back in Brian Borowski, the proprietor here at Classic Lanes, who's been telling us a little bit about this challenge and how this all came together. And now we get our first look at Pat Madigan from Tonawanda, 59 years old, and not only a regular here at Classic Lanes, but a regular viewer and attendee of Beat the Champ, right? You told me he's only missed one show?
Yeah, of course it was at Ollie Brandt, so, but it's, we have a joke around here, where's Waldo? You know, where's Pat sitting this week? So he's everywhere. He likes coming out, he enjoys watching the show, especially live, and so this is kind of a great opportunity for him to be part of it. So he was in the stands, now he's bowling on TV.
That's great.
Yep.
Well, see, he's retired from National Grid, so he's got a little time on his hands and still does some school crossing guard work here in Tonawanda. So during the summer, he didn't have to worry about that, and he's got plenty of time to be part of the traveling Beat the Champ road show.
Yes. And Pat, you know, to make it a little more fair, again, we made this a handicap event, so technically Chuck had a negative 17 pins. Pat had 5 pins, so to make it easier for Janelle, we decided to split the difference and give Pat the 22 pins.
Got it.
A little easier to understand from a scorekeeping standpoint.
Sure. Well, and again, I feel bad for Pat a little bit in that here he is. He qualifies for this special edition league championship, and who does he get matched up with? Pretty much the most successful Beat the Champ bowler of any of them.
Sure.
Yes, good old Chuck.
That's like showing up at your random public golf course to play for a little money, and they roll Jordan Spieth out there to play against for you. But Pat's an interesting guy. We'll talk a little more about Pat, and you obviously know Pat very well, and certainly Chuck Jagosinski, as we talked about on last week's show, has more regular Beat the Champ wins than any other bowler and is second amongst weekly wins. So he's got the second most trophies out of anybody. So it is safe to say that there hasn't been a more successful Beat the Champ bowler than Chuck. And he's off to a typically good Chuck Jagosinski start. So Pat Madigan is 59 years old. He has been bowling since he is 9 years old, a native of Tonawanda. Good, healthy 203 average. He's got his wife Barb here cheering him on, family and friends as well too. Pat bowls regularly here on Wednesday nights at Classic Lanes and bowls in the Just for Fun Mixed Couples League here at Classic Lanes, and subs in a Monday league at Tonawanda and bowls on Thursdays at Kenmore Lanes as well too. Well, I want to be retired someday too. I bowl, watch bowling, hang around bowling. What could be better than that?
He also is a soccer coach.
Yep, and a bowling coach.
And a bowling coach. So
and if you'll notice the outfit, that is the Pat Madigan trademark there, right?
Yes.
He's always got something colorful on, something tie-dyed on. Of course, we had a little challenge here because he has to have had a collared shirt for Beat the Champ, so sometimes it's hard to find a tie-dyed collared shirt. So what did he do? He had his wife take a white shirt and tie-dye it up. Good for you, Pat. Good job.
They did a really good job. I never would have known that was homemade.
Good
All right, he got
strike.
back in.
That'll be another career for him, is if he can fit another one in, he can have a tie-dye shirt, collared shirt business.
Hey, there you go. I know all you bowlers always looking for colorful gear to be wearing to league night, right?
Yeah, we do have the Viking horns.
Yes, well, we'll get to that in a moment, because earlier in the show we were talking about your big Lebowski night coming up in January, and of course, appropriately, someone gave us the proper headgear for that, which we're going to make Sue wear.
Nice.
See?
I was afraid I was going to have to wear it.
No, we're going to make Sue wear that. Here's Chuck in the 5th frame. He's got strikes on the last 3.
Oh.
Just missed that one. He'll have to pull the 10 pin in here for a spare. Chuck Jagodzinski's 48 years old from Lancaster. He's been bowling since he's 8 years old.
So Chuck has closed that 22-pin gap and has a 13-pin lead after the 3rd frame.
Pat Madigan, part of the team title at the 1998 Greater Buffalo Tournament, also the Tonawanda Singles Shootout winner back in 1997. So he's really had some nice bowling achievements in his career. Said his biggest influence in bowling was his grandfather. Back in the day, he used to get together with his grandfather, watch Beat the Champ, and then go bowling afterwards. And I love hearing stories about that, and I think that's what's been so much fun to be a part of this show, because it goes back it goes back so long into the 70s, and it's such a part of sort of people growing up and connections with family and dads and grandfathers, and watch the shows together with their parents. I think that's what's so cool about being a part of Beat the Champ, Sue.
Oh, absolutely. I hear it all over. Kids and older people alike. It's like that perfect demographic of kids who are now watching it with their family members, and then the older people who remember it from the past. It's captured a large audience.
We're going to be back with more Beat the Champ bowling action in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV. Pretty interesting statistic about Pat. He has 3 career 300 games. 2 of them came in the same month in April of 2000, and then he had to wait 12 years for his 3rd 300 game. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? To think that the 2 of them would come in the same month like that. And once again, you've heard me talk about this. I am shocked that in what are we, on our 10th month now of doing Beat the Champ, all these great bowlers, we have yet to have a 300
He's
game.
waiting for a 300.
I am so waiting for it. You're going to hear me scream like you've never heard me scream before when we finally get that. I'm just surprised we haven't had one yet, and that's only because I know how good the bowlers are in this town. I also know this is a very challenging setup for this show, which doesn't necessarily allow that to happen.
Well, way back on the Pro Tour, there was never a 300, and they actually offered a $100,000 prize for rolling a 300 on TV.
Mm-hmm. How long did it take before that happened? Do you remember?
Oh, no. I would say probably in the 80s. I'm not. I don't know. Maybe I'll Google that.
I mean, it's not that 300 games, you wouldn't call them common, but when you're talking about some of the high-level guys, and we talk about their 50 and 60 career 300 games, you know, what the high-level guys do it on occasion.
Right. But it's a little bit different when you're one-on-one match. You're on lane conditions that have changed. You have bright lights. You have a camera guy right there in front of you.
We have you talking out loud.
Yeah, me. I can be a little loud at times. I do get that. I hear that sometimes, as everyone else hears me.
And when people are focusing you one-on-one, nerves can get the best of you, even though people say it doesn't, but it really does.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things going on around you for sure.
Well, do you feel like you want to announce a $100,000 300-game challenge right now for Beat the Champ?
No, I don't. Right now we do have a $200.
All right,
TV.
there you go. That's
it's
good.
in the rules, so we do have a $200, which WBBZ and myself personally have put up the money for that $200 if it happens.
Right, and a round of drinks at the bar here at Classic Lanes as well, too?
Well, they can pay with the $200.
That's true, you're right. Oh, the Big Lebowski hat, maybe?
Oh,
No,
that's
you're
a
not giving that
collector's
up.
item.
Well, good. I'm excited. That's another reason why I'm going to be excited for our first 300 game, because there's a cash prize on the line for it as well, too. So Pat is as we talked about, he's no stranger to this show. Aside from attending it, he has also coached a number of kids that we've seen on the show. Kaylin and Michael Weber, Parker Fliss, Robin Jeziorski.
Great job, Pat.
He has coached them in both soccer and bowling, so he figured, well, if they can be on TV, I might as well get myself on TV as well, too. And he is doing an excellent job, and he's been a lot of fun to watch here. This thing is a lot closer than maybe we thought it was going to be, isn't it?
Well, we know that it's hard to take on the great Chuck Jagosinski, and maybe a few more than 22 pins would have helped him a little bit more.
10th frame here for Pat.
Nice
And a
shot.
nice strike.
Very nice shot.
Might put that tie-dyed collared shirt there up for auction somewhere amongst our great bowlers. That shirt's going to become famous here in Western New York bowling circles.
Very
Strike in the
nice.
10th frame for Pat. One more. Good performance, good show here by Pat Madigan. Been a lot of fun to watch him bowl.
Great finish
Great
there.
finish for Pat.
Excellent finish. A 220 with the handicap for Pat Madigan. Excellent score. And now Chuck Jagosinski will finish things off. Big strike for Chuck as well. Typically solid performance for Chuck Jagosinski. And again,
Well, he's had a lot of practice today.
Yes, he
Yes,
has
he
had a lot
has.
of practice. You're right. And we'll see him again next week as he returns as our champion to start things off at Island Lanes, and that'll be on next week's show.
Well, the great thing about being the champion from one center to the other, you don't have to worry about qualifying.
No.
You're guaranteed that spot.
Right.
So that's one of the other bonuses for being the last champion at a bowling center.
That,
Right.
and
And
on
that-
the other hand, though, the little bit of a disadvantage is that the other people have gotten a chance to bowl in the lane condition and see how that particular house, changes. But I'd still rather have the guaranteed paycheck, right?
Exactly. You guaranteed, $50 for just showing up, and you don't have to pay the $30 entry fee and then, a lot of these guys bowl 2-3 times, and, it's a little money savings.
Yeah, and like you said, you get the chance to come right back and not have to deal with qualifying, which continues on a weekly basis to get tougher and tougher with more and more entries. So it's 248 to 220 win for Chuck Jagosinski, and he will move on to our championship match against James Tomsick to crown our Classic Lanes League champion. But before that, Sue, you got to put the hat on.
Oh,
You promised. There you go. You got to put the Big Lebowski hat on.
Where's my White Russian?
Look, we'll get you one of those after the show, when the show is over
Liar.
with. All right, good. You gonna leave that on for our interview segment here?
No, I will not.
I didn't think you would. So, well, there you go. Freeze frame that one. Still frame that one. There's Sue with the Big Lebowski hat on. We're back to talk to our two bowlers and get ready for our championship match when Beat the Champ continues from here at Classic Lanes in Kenmore. Good luck for you, right there. Look at that.
Oh, the abuse.
Chuck Jagodzinski with the victory over Pat Madigan to advance to our Classic Lanes League Championship. You have been a regular in almost all of our tapings. A little different when you're out there performing than when you're cheering on the crowd.
It's a little more nerve-wracking here.
Yeah, but you handled it well.
Ran into a buzzsaw. Chuck's a great bowler, and there's no defense in bowling, so unfortunately I couldn't stop him. So
Yeah, you kind of got the bad luck of the draw here and having to face just about the hottest guy in Western New York right now. So.
Yeah, you're one match away from really being the king of Classic Lanes here. So you won't stop, will you?
No, I like it winning, so I'd like to get that 10th win in, but we'll see what happens.
Wow.
I don't do it here at Grand Island, right?
Right. Well, the winner has to wear that hat they just put on my head. So just a fair warning.
Yeah.
I can run.
All right, well, our Chuck Jagodzinski show will continue with another match next week, last week, almost every week with Chuck, but it's always fun to watch a bowl. We've got our championship match, and it's coming up next on Beat the Champ. So we're back for our championship match. James Tomsick, that gentleman right there, will take on Chuck Jagodzinski, and we will crown a Classic Lanes League bowling champion following this one. James had a very impressive 220 to 145 win over his teammate Mike Manzella in our first match, and with the handicap system going on here, he's got a nice little edge to begin things with.
Yeah, he starts out with 34 pins of handicap, so that'll be factored in his first frame, and we'll give him a little bit of a lead to start.
Well, of course, only fair when you're bowling against probably the best and hottest bowler in all of Western New York, and that's Chuck Jagodzinski. So we'll see. Chuck's got a little work to do here to overcome that.
Geez, we're gonna have to put a little statue of Chuck in front of this place if he keeps this up.
No, we're not going to do that.
We're at Classic Lanes on Military Road in Kenmore. We're wrapping up our month-long stay here, and of course Chuck Jagodzinski was a big part of our last couple of shows. He is the defending Beat the Champ title winner. He'll be back next week to bowl at Island Lanes. And as we talked about earlier, he has now won more Beat the Champ matches than any other bowler that's been a part of this show. So it's safe to say he is about as hot as anybody.
What nights does Chuck bowl here?
He bowled on last year, I believe, on Friday nights. And then James bowls on our Monday night Smith Majaris League, Mondays at 7 o'clock.
What's the name of the Friday Night League?
I believe it's Strikers.
Strikers, because there was a league that bowled here on Friday nights after when I worked at Suburban that came here. Transportation League?
No.
Okay. They could have.
Your memory's fading on you a little bit. We're joined by Brian Borowski. He's the proprietor here at Classic Lanes. Brian's been nice enough to be a part of our show here and give us the lowdown on the bowlers that we're seeing and a little bit about the leagues and everything else that goes on here at Classic Lanes. So it's been a fun month-long stop for us. This is a great bowling alley. We've seen some terrific scores. We've seen some challenging bowling based on the lane conditions, and that's made it fun, giving us something to really talk about.
I'll tell you, James has lane 31 completely figured out. I think you've struck on that lane every time.
That's why I was a little surprised that he started the match on 31.
And Chuck Jagodzinski will leave the one pin there. as he bowls in the third frame. Boy, Chuck is so much fun to watch, and we've talked about it, even going back to Jamestown. It's a little bit of an unorthodox bowling style when you watch him, but you know, much like the great guys that we've talked about, just incredibly consistent.
And that's the most important thing with bowling, is being consistent in your thing. You may do it totally wrong on tape, but if you produce the results, it really doesn't matter.
And as long as you repeat it, it's repeat, repeat,
Correct.
repeat.
Not that you want anybody to develop bad habits, but essentially what you're saying, you can overcome them sometimes as long as you are consistent in what you do.
Well, the bad habits may be to us, but not to them. To them, it may be good habits. But the key thing is consistency, and are you getting the results? If you're not getting the results, then you need to tweak and change it accordingly.
So now back to James Tomsick, our 27-year-old landscaper from North Tonawanda. Good
Great
strike right there. Boy, he's bowling very well. That's 3 strikes in the first 4 frames for James. Be a little bit of a...
Wasn't that a ball change from his first match?
It does look different.
I'm not sure.
I think he was using a different ball first match, so...
Another one.
That was a good change, if in fact he did change it. That's, for someone who hasn't been bowling a long time, that's sure knowing your equipment.
Mike Haynes takes care of drilling the balls for James Tomsick. Here's Chuck Jagosinski in the 5th frame.
And I did get confirmation he did switch bowling balls. So it was a great switch.
Well, we do like to talk about here on the show, and we're going from match to match, you know, how that's part of your arsenal, that's part of your weaponry to figure out what's going on out there and then to be able to adjust accordingly.
That's why you have a multiple of bowling balls, you know, just like in golf. You don't use a driver at every hole. You don't use a putter every shot. So you need to have a different arsenal. So when the lane's dry or they're oily, you need to go to that go-to ball.
Absolutely.
How hard is that, Brian, for a bowler mentally when things may be working well for you, but you say, oh, the conditions are changed a little bit, but I feel good, I feel comfortable, this is working, that style is working. Messes with your head a little bit, doesn't it?
That's where the right and left side of the brain, you know, have a fight. It's like, did I throw a good shot? Did I not? Do I need to make a ball change? It's a never-ending battle, and it's like, oh, I should have done that, or I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, and the trick of the one-game match, too, because we talked about it earlier, you have to make those choices really, really fast. There's no time to wait and see if you made a good shot or a bad shot, because you have to make a decision and live with it, really.
And then sometimes you overreact to something, and it wasn't the right move. It's a never-ending battle.
It is.
I think one of the biggest things I've learned from Sue through the course of this show is how much this is so much more of a mental sport than maybe people even think. You know, oh, you're throwing a ball down, but the mental part of it, the adjustments, when to switch, when not to switch, that's really what separates the great bowlers from the good bowlers.
Right. I mean, did I release the ball properly, or, you know, did it, you know, there's so many different things.
The action will continue on Beat the Champ in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
You have to read other things in order to figure out what your obstacles are. And there's factors into that too. Did you throw it hard? Did you throw it slow? Did you miss your target? Did you, get it in a little bit? All that factors into reading your invisible obstacle.
Exactly. In golf, you see a tree.
Yeah, right.
And 9 times out of 10 you hit it. So.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10 I hit. Yeah. I feel like I hit more wood on a golf course than a lumberjack. Now, Chuck struggled a little bit and was muttering to himself after that first shot, but he's able to pick up the spare here. And remember, James starts this match with a 34-pin advantage. And Chuck isn't knocking pins down like Chuck normally does right now.
Right now, James has a 70-pin lead.
And Chuck Jagosinski knows how to respond to the pressure as he does right there. Big strike in the 8th frame.
The wonders of handicap. Now, that's another debate in the bowling world, is it not?
Well, I mean, if you really go on the studies on USBC to make it fair, is handicap needs to be 118%. It's a study that they did back in the, I believe in the 80s, 90s. What is the fairest handicap? Because the better bowlers are always going to win. If a person with a 170 average and you do 90% of difference and you have a 200 average bowler, the 200 average bowler will win 100% of the time if they bowl both
Do you think
averages.
that still applies to today with the technology increase that's been and the increase in averages that we've seen? Because in my experience, it seems to be easier for a 180 average bowler to shoot 210, say 30 pins better than it is for now these averages are so inflated. If your average is 224, that 30 pins is 254, and that's a lot of carry.
I mean, there's debates both ends of the spectrum, but your better bowlers are going to do bigger games. They are going to, bowl their 250s regularly, and then on the low side, if they're a 210 average bowler, maybe shoot a 190, and that's a bad game for them.
I think any classic league bowler, any scratch bowler you talk to that has to bowl in a handicap situation will always see it as though it's an unfair advantage.
That's correct.
And the handicap bowler, on the other hand, sees it the opposite way. So it's definitely a debate.
Nice strike there for Chuck in the 9th frame.
But in reality, your better bowler is going to bowl better more often than a lower average bowler.
Still a decent sized lead here for James.
Oh, Chuck can only get 213. This is over.
So we get a big upset.
That's because he didn't want to wear that hat.
That might have been it. That might have been it. Now, Chuck's done a lot of bowling here today as well, too. We understand
That's
that,
true.
but this ranks as a pretty good sized upset. James took that 34-pin handicap and he ran with it, too, and put up some really nice frames and 3 different strikes in the match. That's all right. Chuck's done an awful lot of winning on this show. I don't think he's going to mind letting somebody else take home a trophy like this.
And he gets to come back next week no matter what.
That's
exactly.
Right. It's a 202 on the board for Chuck Jagodzinski. And now James Tomsik gets to do a little victory lap here and finish it off and claim the title of Classic Lanes League Champion. He doesn't really look like the kind of guy that's going to hold that over the head of Chuck Jagodzinski, but you're definitely going to present that.
That's a tough parade.
Not to me. You're not presenting it to me. You're going to present that to our champion.
You look like the guy on the back of the screen.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Me and my buddy there, Mr. Buffalo.
You guys almost like cousins.
Thanks. Thanks to the both of you.
Anytime.
I figured I wasn't going to take any real abuse till we got up to Grand Island, but you guys are getting me an early start on it, so.
Oh, we want you to get your dollar's worth by crossing the river.
Well, it's a 1. So what's our final score here for James?
226.
226. 226 to 202, the win for James Tomsik to claim our Classic Lanes League Championship. We'll talk to him and to Chuck and get you ready for next week's trip to Grand Island. When we return, you're watching Beat the Champ here on WBBZ-TV. It's not often that Chuck Jagodzinski isn't getting the trophy, but in this particular case, Chuck, you ran to a very hot James Tomsik. He bowled very well. He had the handicap, and you've been busy all day here today as well, too.
He threw an awesome ball. He got a lot of strikes, and I lost the line, so I'm not going to beat him that way.
Right. Well, and then he gets to, we'll see how much he's going to hold the Classic Lanes Championship over your head for the next couple of months.
You can do it all you want.
Well, there you go. The door is open for you, James.
Well, we have a little cheerleader here.
Yep, my daughter Haley.
Does she enjoy watching on TV?
Always.
Always. Can I give her the trophy for you?
Yes.
You want to hold this for your dad?
What do you think of that, Haley? There you go. Nothing more needs to be said. Hey, James, congratulations. This was a lot of fun to watch you to bowl. Enjoy your league year here at Classic. We get to see again next week. You excited to move on up to Grand Island?
Yeah.
Of course you are. Of course you are. Our winningest bowler of all of them on Beat the Champ. We're going to get more of Chuck next week. Sue and I come back to wrap up our stay here in Kenmore when Beat the Champ returns right here on WBBZ. Well, Sue, when we started our run a month ago here at Classic Lanes, we talked about the potential to see high scores, but challenging lane conditions, and son of a gun, that's exactly what we saw.
Yeah, Pat came out of the gate with 270, 260, thought we were going to see all these scores all over the place, and then they broke down a little funny, and we watched them have to struggle and have to figure it out, and we got a lot to talk about while it was happening.
Yeah, the lanes always bite back, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, now they didn't bite too hard on Chuck Jagosinski, even though he didn't win this past match. He won our last match on our regular competition, and we're going to see Chuck again when we move to Island Lanes in Grand Island next week. Just a thought on how good Chuck has been, the winningest of all the Beat the Champ bowlers.
Well, he's solid, and he knows his game, and he knows his equipment, and those are three very, very big factors. You have to be consistent. He is very consistent and pretty much does the same thing over and over again, which makes it easier to adjust. So he probably won't have any trouble at Island doing the same thing.
Yeah, can he keep adding trophies to that mantle and that trophy case? We will find out. We'll talk to you next month from Island Lanes in Grand Island. For all the crew here at WBBZ, for Sue, my name is Paul Peck. Thanks for watching this week's edition of Beat the Champ.